The Chicago Blackhawks are eliminated from playoff contention for the sixth year as they have not made the playoffs since the COVID year in 2020. Let's break down what went wrong for the Chicago Blackhawks. Now, it's not having draft picks as they have drafted 11 times in the first round over the last 4 years. 3 of those years, they've had 3 first-round picks. And in the last 3 years, they've had number 1, number 2, and number 3 overall. Connor Bedard is the building block of this team, and they expected him to be that generational center. He got compared to guys like McDavid and Crosby, and honestly, he's been very good, over a point per game, but not quite that impact that they really need to bring him over the hump, as you see a guy like Celebrini who's a year younger, and San Jose's in a little better spot than Chicago is right now. Now, Chicago got off to a decent start this season, and it seemed like they could be vying for a playoff spot, but Connor Bedard's injury kind of slowed them down, and unfortunately, once he got hurt and Frank Nazar got hurt, just wasn't enough for the Blackhawks. They didn't have the depth, and unfortunately, the team kind of fell apart, and they got buried in the bottom of the West, and even though the West hasn't been too competitive this year, they just weren't good enough to get in. Now, they still have a ton of draft assets available as they have 2 first-round picks in each of the next 2 years, and they have 3 second-round picks this season and 2 second-round picks the following season. So 7 second-round picks over the next 3 years. Plenty of draft picks to help improve this team for the future, or trade them for maybe some young NHL talent, because you're getting a kind of a long drought now. They might want to start using some of those draft picks to get maybe not veterans, but players that can make an impact right now. The first round pick that they have is currently the Florida Panthers, who have not been very good this season. It is top 10 protected. So if Florida's pick falls in the top 10, it'll convey over to next season, where then it'll be unprotected. But if pick falls between 11 and 32, they will get it. So they may not have 2 first-round picks, but then they'd end up having 3 first-round picks next season. They would have a protected Edmonton first, and obviously the previous Florida pick we just talked about. Expect them to name Connor Bedard captain of their team next season, and they still have a ton of young talent. And some of these guys like Frondell and Nazar that really give them some depth. They just have to develop them, and they have to take that next step. And for a team like Chicago, who's just loaded, even in their prospect pool, it can all kind of happen in one season where you get a bunch of guys who take that next step, and you sign the right veterans, and boom, you're right back in it. All in all, it's been a slightly disappointing season in the Windy City, but nonetheless, the future is still pretty bright in Chicago. They have the building blocks, they have the pieces, and they do have the generational talent of Connor Bedard. He does need to take that step forward. He does need to get a consistent line, and that's one of the things that he has not been able to have early on in his career. Spencer Knight looks like he could be the goaltender of the future, and you just got to build a defense around him. So the defense has been shoddy in Chicago, to say the least, but again, plenty of draft capital to not only pick some younger players for the future down the pipeline, and you can trade. You can make some moves. You have additional draft capital to get a veteran. You have cap space to take on a bad contract. Just depends on what Chicago is going to do. So, tough season for the Blackhawks, but future is still pretty bright.